On today's show,
Give me some Raptor news. Toronto sits atop the East.
the Lakers win, which means Charles Barkley can eat again.
And is Chris Bosh underappreciated? Brent Berry joins us in the Bone Zone to discuss.
It's Monday, November 10th. The Starters starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to the Starters. Whether you're joining us live online, listening to the podcast, or catching us on NBA TV, very happy to have you. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, it's Tass Mellis.
Welcome to our home.
To my right, Starters blog editor Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey-o! And finally, it's the Aussie. It's Lee Ellis. Lele, all right, let's get right into it. Mondays, we like to sort of look back at the NBA weekend and hand out a few winners. And we are going to give you some Raptor news, Kenny Smith. It is the Toronto Raptors as one of the winners. They took care of the Wizards on Friday and then demolished the Sixers on Sunday, 120-88. A lot of highlights. You had the oop to DeRozan, Vasquez into Psycho T, defensively, Terrence Ross. There's some nice blocks in this game. You had the totally unnecessary but totally awesome 360 layup. And then James Johnson killed a man by the name of Brandon Davies on the Sixers, and Drake loved it. And Drake wearing Costanza glasses, ladies' frames. Did he get those from Kramer?
He must have.
What's going on?
He's got the discount that George Costanza
I guess so. So yes, a pretty good weekend for those Raptors. They win both their games in dominant fashions, and then sit atop the Eastern Conference at 6-1, tied for the best record across the entire league. And yes, that sounds really, really weird to say.
You guys getting tattoos or what?
Oh man, I'm extremely happy on this Monday.
The Eastern Conference leading Toronto Raptors has to be the latest in the season they've ever been atop the Eastern Conference, and they're on their way to a 50-win season. Yes, they're doing it. A 50-win season, the first time in franchise history. They're the only franchise that hasn't won 50 games, which is a little surprising. But I think there are a couple guys that can take them to the next level, because last year they won 48 games. They should be able to win 50 games this season, considering last year's first month they had Rudy Gay on their team. So the first quarter of the season they went 7-13 last year. They should be able to get to 50 no problem. These two guys can take them to the next level, Jonas Valanciunas and Terrence Ross, the two third-year players, because we know Kyle and DeMar are doing an absolute great job, but these guys have been inconsistent. Terrence Ross finally appeared this weekend. He had a 17-point performance, his best performance of the year. Jonas Valanciunas has the same numbers as last year. Those two starters, along with Lowry and DeRozan, are going to have to be the guys to really put them into the second round even. Because, yes, they're going to win 50 games, it feels like, but would you be surprised if they lost in the first round? I wouldn't, unless those two guys really step up and help out.
That's said like a true Raptors fan, right?
Well, that's the way it is.
You would, but you see there, 48 wins last year, 6-1 start. But again, and this was the big surprise last season, they were good on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
The only team in the top 10 offensive rating and defensive rating, and that's continued. You saw there on the graphic, third offensively, seventh defensively.
And Tess, you mentioned the Rudy Gay trade. That's kind of been a huge turning point for the franchise, because when that happened, they were could go either way, maybe going to throw the season away, go for a draft pick.
Going to trade Lowry possibly. Was Casey going to get fired? Yeah.
But they stumbled into something nice, because they kind of have everything you need. They've got a two-way point guard. They've got scorers. They got wing defenders, post defenders, rebounds. That trade got them a lot of depth, and it seems like all the guys on the team are playing well together and like playing together. So a year continuity, of course, they're going to be better.
I want Lowry to set up Valanciunas a little bit more, because he's only at 11-7, and I think, Amir Johnson at the 4 spot, you know what he's going to do. He's going to rebound, he's going to set picks, but he's not a scorer. I think Valanciunas has to, along with Terrence Ross, who looks confident at times. I think Kyle Lowry passes up Jonas a little bit too much on those roles. Get that big guy what he needs.
One of the preseason questions we had, sort of predictions or whatever, who had the deepest bench in the league? We were picking the Spurs, the Bulls, throwing those guys out there. The Raps don't have the names maybe of some of those teams, but the Raps are a very deep squad here.
Yeah.
And Casey has a lot of options, and right now everyone is playing that role in terms of the backup point guard and Vasquez, Lou to come in there to score, James Johnson to come in and sort of lock down a guy, the bigs. 10 guys deep right now.
They have, but you mentioned Dwayne Casey's got everyone playing a role, and everyone knows when they're going to come in and do something and what that role is expected of them. And what I also like is they're not getting carried away, the Raptors. No one's, setting off firecrackers or anything like that they're 6-1. No, because
because they
honestly,
lost to the Heat, and then the only really other great team, let's say, would
Washington.
be the Wizards.
Yeah, on Friday night.
Bradley Beal, they haven't had a great win.
Exactly, but the thing is as well, against the Philadelphia 76ers, that was the sort of a game that maybe a Raptors team in the past could have dropped. They just sort of take their eye off the ball. Yeah. And instead they went out and they absolutely pounded them. And that's what a good team has to do, is just go out there and crush opponents when you have that opportunity.
And what did everyone think of the throwback jerseys
Oh,
that the Raps
so
were wearing on
beautiful.
Friday? The Dinos.
And they just brought back some painful yet sweet memories for me. So I love them. I personally love them.
They got
Yeah,
them
they're
7
ugly,
times
but
this
they've
season.
been around. They haven't been around for so long that now they look awesome. That's how
Yeah.
things
They,
go.
they do look awesome. But yeah, they had to go only 4 years in 1999 because they were sort of a mockery of the league. But now they're great.
Yeah.
And you see here, they were also handing out these shirts for that Friday game, that throwback night. Every single Raptor player
We're in Raptor history.
is on that shirt.
We checked.
You got to look closely. We checked so
Yeah.
much that a guy named by the name of Vincenzo Esposito
Yes.
is on this shirt.
Top left corner, the top left claw. This is probably the only Vincenzo Esposito circulating in the world
It
today.
is.
I took that photo in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic years ago. That could be Vincenzo Esposito
That might be.
himself.
Maybe it is.
Who knows? And Vincenzo Esposito's career transactions are hilarious. May 25th, 1995, signed by Toronto Raptors. July 2nd, 1996, waived by Toronto Raptors. That's it.
That's it. And
Never
then,
another day in
all right.
the NBA.
and then
One
went
photo.
to the resort, jumped in the pool. Yeah, got a pina
Started
Got
colada.
his
all
name on the shirt though.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's get to some more winners, some quicker ones here. The Thunder, we're going to give a winner of the weekend. A little surprising for a 2-5 team.
Yeah, they beat up the Sacramento Kings on Sunday. You can't stop the spirit of the Thunder. They've got the best cheerleaders in the game, and KD and Russ on the sideline. But seriously, they come out and they play hard despite all these injuries. And the best thing for me is that these type of role guys are getting going. Jeremy Lamb has only played 2 games because of injury, but he's got 17 in each of those games, along with Reggie Jackson, feeling comfortable. And they're only 2-5, but you see here, their manpower just sort of dwindles away as games go on. They actually start games very well, but they don't have the manpower, and unfortunately, they don't have the talent to preserve leads, but they have started games off really well, and I really feel like this team is going to the playoffs. It feels like they've got such a great atmosphere in that arena every single game.
They have a
playing
huge
hard.
stretch, though, coming up here.
Yeah.
Obviously, no Westbrook and no Durant still. Got some guys back, but there is a 5-game stretch here where I think they sort of have to go out and go at least 3-2, maybe even 4-1, to again stay afloat. We're talking about a 2-5 team right now.
Yeah.
If they go 2-3, 1-4 against some of this competition in the Bucks and the Celtics and the Pistons, the Rockets, the one good team, and then the Jazz who've been playing well
Jazz
too.
have been playing really well, yeah.
Like, they drop 4 of those.
They're in
Now
trouble.
you're in a
Yeah.
real hole. I don't even care when Durant and Westbrook get back. That's tough.
They're playing everybody tough, so I feel like they will have a great opportunity to win those games. One other sort of minor note, and a league-wide note going on in the league. Friday night, the Thunder got called for their second 5-second inbound violation this season. We are going to have a record number of 5-second inbound violations
what's
this season.
going on here?
They're going up and up and up. Refs are just getting a little tighter with the whistle, and they're calling them right at the 5-second mark. So we're seeing it all across the league.
We've had a
OKC's the
couple
only.
of games swung because
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
this was
Big time.
November 2nd here. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
last
Hornets and the
Sunday.
Knicks.
The Thunder game was 6 seconds remaining. They were only down 1 in the 4th quarter. So we're seeing it all over the place. It's just sort of rare. We're on pace for 101 this season.
Wow.
Have you seen the last several years? It's escalated from 16 in 2007-8 to 59 last year, and it's going up and up and up.
Pass that ball in, guys. All right, finally, winner of the weekend has to go to Charles Barkley and his very short-lived fast, thanks to the Lakers.
I'm going on a fast.
You're going on
I'm
a
not
fast.
going to eat again until the Lakers win a game.
Well, that was easy. Lakers win on Sunday against the Hornets. Barkley, enjoy whatever feast you want to have there. Kobe did what he did and got some help on Sunday for the win over the Hornets. Jeremy Lin, 21 points, hit 3 threes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, everyone got in on the Charles Barkley can eat now jokes on Twitter, including Lakers forward Ed Davis. So everyone's excited. Lakers, they're not going 0-82. Jack's happy. The Laker bros, are happy.
Ripping those glasses.
Take those glasses off as quick as possible.
Gotta see this
We're
too.
gonna
Two
see more
bros,
of
might
the
as well
Laker
show him
bros.
twice. Creepy Lakers guy.
The Lakers guy on the left, the best.
Lakers. And let's not forget this, the rare creepy
The
Lakers
happy
fan.
clapper.
Yeah, the happy
He's
guy.
just a nice fella looking
Way
at
to
the
go,
He
guys.
just loves his team. He's just
So
out
there you
supporting
go.
his team.
So Lakers fans, we've had some fun at your expense here on the show, but congrats on the win.
We know Charles didn't miss a meal, by the way.
No,
Come on.
no.
Not one.
It's gonna get
Not a
difficult
snack.
over the next 5 games here too. That's not easy here for the Lakers. All right, lots more still to come, including how will the Minnesota Timberwolves replace pretty tricky Ricky Rubio? We'll talk that and a whole lot more when the starters returns.
I'm a traveling man, doing all that I can. My
Welcome back to the starters. Some unfortunate news for the Wolves over the weekend. On Friday night, Ricky Rubio going down with a badly sprained left ankle. He injured it against the Magic there in the paint. An MRI exam performed Saturday confirmed the severity of the sprain, so he's out indefinitely. I'm seeing some reports of 7 to 8 weeks as a possibility. He's going to have to keep a lot of weight off this. He's going to be on crutches for the next 2 weeks or so. So just after signing that $55 million 4-year contract extension, down goes Rubio, and now the Wolves are left probably plugging in a point guard in Zach LaVine to start, or at least pick up some of those point guard minutes, and a veteran in Mo Williams to try and make it work.
Yeah, Zach's starting, but I can't watch. It's so difficult to sort of be pumped for this team, because I was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Just the prospect of Rubio running this show and running these young guys up and down the floor. But at this point, I guess there's some positives. Zach LaVine is going to learn how to play one spot, the point guard spot, instead of having to bounce around the point guard and shooting guard spot. But it's far more negatives than positives.
Yeah, here's a Schumann stat for you. The Wolves have been outscored by 14 points per 100 possessions with Rubio off the floor, and that's probably just going to get worse because he kind of does everything. He's one of their better defenders. He sets everybody else up. He's the guy that gets the ball inside to Pekovic. It's all going downhill.
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw something about Zach LaVine starting with Andrew Wiggins. First time in a long time that 2 teenagers are starting for the same squad. Last team to do it was Josh Smith and Marvin Williams back in 05 as teenagers starting. So a young squad there, and Mo Williams will get a lot of minutes there for this team as well. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It just takes the wind out of the sails of even just watching this team. We knew they were going to still even struggle in the West to in the win-loss column to try and make the playoffs, but at least they were going to be entertaining. Take away sort of the orchestra guy there and Ricky Rubio. Not so great. All right, let's pick it up a little bit here on a little brighter note. A few fun moments from the weekend. We call it weekend whoopsies. Let's take them through you right now. Start with Andre Drummond playing the Lakers defense. Talking to the ref, forgetting the game action was about to start.
Can't leave Zaza open.
No, you
He'll
can't.
burn you every
Wrong
time.
side of the court.
Yeah.
Talk to the other ref.
Here we go. Game on, and Zaza.
Money
knocks it down.
Zaza. He was comfortable shooting that basketball. On Saturday, Big Baby takes the charge like Big Baby does.
That's his game.
Then he gets a hug with Blake, and he takes full advantage of it.
Also his game.
Yes. I mean, maybe he's upset that he's not in the viral videos along with Blake and Chris Paul. He's a funny guy. And blend in them.
Saturday, I'm going to give this kid credit for the Bucks upsetting the Grizzlies and handing them their first loss. Because eventually they were down 2 at the time, but they would go on to win this game on a Brandon Knight and one actual snooze. Look at those moves, quick feet. Nice.
It must be snowing in Milwaukee.
90% of the dancing is in your face.
That's
I heard.
true. I heard that.
Look at Nick Collison trying to mess with Rudy Gay on the opposing team. Hey, I'm over here, pass the ball. Hey, hit me.
Hey, hit 2 threes on the night. Minus one.
It didn't work. And Friday, Carmelo Anthony broke Twitter by wearing a birthday cake hat.
There's some fondant on that.
I mean, it's really incredible stuff. I want to know, though, I mean, that's an amazing hat. You saw a lot of Willy Wonka memes going around. But do you remember the preseason? Amon Shumpert, after the game, was wearing a clock hat.
Yeah.
He has a hat with a clock in it.
You never know. You never know when you're going to forget your
No one
watch.
wears a watch these days.
Pop the hat on.
It looks like he's got multiple time zones on that hat.
You can tell the barometric
That's a
pressure on
chronograph
that
for
guy.
sure.
Yeah.
So let us know, hashtag the starters. Which hat's better, Shumpert's clock hat or Melo's Willy Wonka birthday hat?
Important stuff.
That
question.
is important stuff. That's the weekend whoopsies right there. All right, let's unleash the unicorn. Pickups of the week presented by the General Insurance. Here's a few guys you should at least consider picking up this week.
Yeah, there's definitely one spot on your roster that you can use to pick up some of these guys this week. Evan Fournier, Mo Williams, Jeremy Lamb, Iman Shumpert, or Randy Foy. And let's talk about Evan Fournier here for a quick sec. The guy's numbers you probably don't expect. 16 points, hits 2 threes per game, and a great percentage at 50% shooting. Now, again, you probably have a roster spot where you don't have a great player. Pick this guy up now because Victor Oladipo is going to come back in the next couple weeks or so, and his value won't be as high. But right now,
Ride the wave.
that ponytail is hitting shots. 50%. That's a great percentage.
And here's a quick look at the fantasy schedule for week 3. A lot of teams there on the left with 4 games, so they'll be playing a whole lot. Maybe teams you want to avoid, especially if you are trying to pick up a guy, only the Celtics, Clippers, Sixers, and Wizards have 2 games this week. So unless you're doing the whole pick-up drop game, which a lot of people, of course, do the head-to-head.
Sometimes you got to get dirty.
Take note. Got to take note of this stuff. All right, got to take a break, but coming up, Brent Barry will join us in studio to discuss Steve Nash, Chris Bosh, and a whole lot more. Back with the Bone Zone in 2. You're watching The Starters. Back with the starters into the Bone Zone, joined by two-time NBA champ
that way while
Grant
you're
Barry. Hey, we don't know where you should look. I mean, there's cameras here,
still
there's
trying to
cameras
get
there.
this thing together.
Bones, thanks for joining us.
Good to
As
see you
always.
guys.
Got a few topics. Going to get right into it. On Friday night, Steve Nash addressed critics of his recreational activities in a lengthy Facebook post after he received flack earlier in the week when he posted a video of himself golfing on Instagram. Now, I'm just going to read a portion of what Nash posted to his Facebook page there. This may be hard for people to understand, wrote Nash, unless you've played NBA basketball. But there is an incredible difference between this game and swinging a golf club, hiking, even hitting a tennis ball or playing basketball at the park. Fortunately, those other activities aren't debilitating, but playing an NBA game usually puts me out a couple of weeks. Once you're asked to accelerate with Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving, it is a completely different demand. He went on to say a whole lot more, but two questions to you, because it's interesting. He says, unless you've played NBA basketball, Bones, you played 14 years.
Right.
I want to sort of know how much of a toll it really is physically on you, an 82-game season, and what Nash is talking about. And then sort of the other one is, do you think he has to, explain his off-the-court stuff to Lakers fans?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very individual how the game affects you physically. It's the type of preparation you put in and then what you do really in the off season to rest up and get yourself ready for another year. Steve Nash is one of the hardest working players that I've ever had a chance to play against, and I know Steve quite well. The fact that he was open and honest to answer whatever vitriol was coming from Laker fans speaks to just how classy he is. But the best part about that letter, I thought, Skeets, was what Steve said, because I'm a retired player, semi-retired because I kind of work here, but Steve said life doesn't stop. And no matter what it is that he's doing in his private life, and there's always great discussion around how much involvement a fan should have with regards to your favorite player's private life and what he does for you with the team, because we have emotional connections with athletes. I did growing up.
Yep.
You guys do here at work. We still do. I still do as a fan. But how far do we take that? And for Steve to answer any questions regarding what it is he's doing with his free time, it speaks to the class of who he is. But he didn't have to do that.
Right. Swinging a golf club, different than
Well,
playing
think
NBA
about Phil
basketball.
Mickelson has a back problem, but he says, I can't play golf anymore. I'm going to go play some NBA basketball. It doesn't really work in the opposite direction. And if you do read the letter, and hopefully people do take the time, since you mentioned it, talking about what it is that Steve has to do, or what he had been doing for the last almost 2 years, to even get himself on the court, to move around and to give himself an opportunity to play the game. It's been something that's been alarming for him. It's been disconcerting for him, and he doesn't feel good about not playing. It's what he loves to do.
Right.
So, very interesting.
Well, speaking of emotional reactions, it felt like you sort of had one yesterday watching Chris Bosh play on Game Time. You mentioned that you just respect him a whole lot more for watching him defer for the last 4 years after this start where he's shown everything in his bag of tools. How hard do you think it was for him reverting back to sort of his Toronto days? Was it hard at all?
I don't think it was hard at all. And speaking to your point about that, Tass, everybody who's played against this guy, and I've had years where I played against Chris Bosh's years in Toronto, feared what he could do to you and how he could dismantle your team from that position. I don't like the criticism that Chris Bosh received during his time in Miami. What he did, LeBron James gave you more on the professional side of what it is that he does in the game. Chris Bosh gave you more of, on the personal side, how much he had to sacrifice for Miami to have the type of success they had in 4 years, and to not realize just how talented and just how capable Chris Bosh is as a player and has always been.
Right.
To not recognize that, I think you're a fool
Yeah.
to do that. And over the years, I think some guys have spoken way out of turn. They were on TV way too much to talk about Chris Bosh in the way that they have. And to see him do this now, this is returning to Toronto numbers as a better player, in my opinion. There was
definitely.
5 straight years of where he was 22-10 in Toronto. Well, guess what? In Miami, he got better. He shot 74. He made 74 threes last year. The year before, he had attempted 74 threes. So the fact that he's coming now as even a more complete player to give Miami what they need to compete, and trust me, right now, they're competing. The way they dismantled Dallas last night, Chris Bosh is going to be one of those players that's going to be much more appreciated down the line.
I agree with
I
that.
don't want to get away from what it is that he does and has been doing throughout the course of his career. And the Miami years might be looked back on saying, you know what? He was incredible during that time, going 18-8 for 4 straight seasons or whatever it was,
Sure.
and sacrificing the way he did for the greater good. Might
For
be
that
the
success,
Yeah,
yeah.
might be the feather in his cap.
We got an emotional Brent today.
Absolutely.
He needs to be appreciated. You're 100% right.
Well, one more thing here. I don't know if you saw this because we missed it the first time around, but a fan was taking video Thursday night at the Blazers game and caught possibly the worst half-court shot attempt we've ever seen.
At first, I thought it was a passing
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah.
Like, let's see who can
No.
fundamentally.
Fellas at Summer League coming up
Listen,
just
Brent,
a bit right.
I was there for this.
I don't play in arenas, all right? Sight lines are just long. I don't play at all, really. When I pick up a basketball, I haven't picked up a basketball in like months.
But Bones shows us how it's done.
That's just a regulation shot for you too.
What's your record for most half-court shots made in a row?
Oh, in a row? I don't think I've ever made two in a row. Maybe
No,
2 in
really?
a row. Yeah, that's.
Next week on the
Surprise.
Bone Zone.
Yeah,
By the
okay.
way, I'm
Set it up.
I'm throwing my vote in Shumpert hat because it informs.
Final break. But when we come back, Lee's very solid play of the night. Back with the starters, results from Friday's pick and payoff battle between Tass and I. I picked up a game. We didn't have a great night. I went 3-2. You went 2-3. The game I picked up, the double overtime Hawks Hornets game. I felt dirty about this one, Tass. I didn't really even deserve to win this. Lance banking it home.
The only 3 he's made so far this season.
Well, he
And
didn't feel dirty
a
about it
bank
because he
job.
got up on the scorer's table after a bank 3. That's not
Hey,
right.
man.
He didn't mean to do that.
Oh, man. So it got me the victory. I'll take it. Thanks, Lance. It's on my fantasy team, too. I need that 3.
Perfect.
So there's a look at tonight's picks. Tass and I agree on the Cavs, the Knicks, and the Bulls picking up wins. And you like the Pacers at home. I'll take the Jazz playing well. And you like the Spurs on the road. I'll take the Clips at home. But let's get to the very solid play of the night, Lily.
Going over to Dallas last night. Now watch the Miami Heat here. This is how you open up a defense. Starts with Rio penetrating inside. Good ball movement. Back to Rio baseline. Finding Luol Deng for a beautiful wide open 3-pointer swish. That's just perfect play, isn't it, really? To get the defenders scrambling, people don't know where the ball's going, ends with a wide open shot.
Yep.
Beautiful. That's what I call a very solid play.
Very solid play, very solid show. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll be back tomorrow to break down all the action and the big storylines. Join us then.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us today, folks. And remember, those who can't do, talk.
Brace the night, people.